Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're talking about applying the knowledge that you already have, because I'm sure that a lot of you feel like when you're told this stuff like wave management or trading or something, you've heard it all a million times, you've read it a million times, and you feel like you know a lot of it. Maybe you don't know all of it, but you feel like you at least know the details. But then you feel like the main issue that you do have is that you don't apply any of it. You learn it, you look at it, slow pushing, freezing, this and that, then you don't really do it, or you do some of it, and then you're still in your elo, and then in a few months you watch the same video again, and you rinse and repeat, and you wonder why nothing changes. So in this video I'm going to try to help at least some of you with that issue, because I saw that it's a pretty prevalent one. So if we start off, I want to make the point at the start clear. I want each and every one of you to ask yourself right now, how much do you think you're actually trying, and how much do you value the game? And I would prefer if you have the energy to do that, then comment what you think. Like, how much are you actually trying, right? So you can do that now. And now I want to make my first point. So no matter how much you think you're trying, I would be willing to bet that in 99% of cases, you're actually trying a lot less than you think. Because, okay, now envision someone who literally has no other choice. He is pushed into a corner, and the only thing that he has in his life that can save his life from starvation, homelessness, anything, is playing League and being as good as possible. And then compare how much you're trying to how much that guy would try, or how much you would try in that position. If that was your only option, you don't have a way to work, you don't have family, you don't have friends, all you have is the game, or a hobby, or whatever it may be. It doesn't really apply to only League. But if you think about it that way, you're going to realize that whatever effort you're putting in is probably pretty much negligible compared to that, what you would put in that situation. So the first issue we do have is that most people don't try hard enough, and a lot of that is mental stuff. I recommend that you take breaks from the game. I recommend you start stuff like meditating, exercise, whatever. All of that helps you a lot with mental clarity and so on. And you need to tell yourself that you need to behave, and you need to set yourself straight. You're the only one who can do that. But okay, moving on to more practical tips though. I want to first talk about the other side of people who are not lacking in, or well, who are lacking in knowledge but are not lacking application. Those people are the people who usually climb, but that's why you see a lot of those people end up doing stuff that doesn't really make sense, right? Like, why does someone like LS keep blaming like pro players or whatever for their item choices or their whatever they do, right? It's because a lot of those players don't really learn or think about the game as much, but rather instead they're just pretty good at applying stuff. And if you're pretty good at applying stuff, you will end up climbing and you'll end up like going pretty far. The issue though is that you have to balance both, otherwise you can't be very good. I mean, you can be as good as them, which is like already pretty good, right? But in the end, it's going to end up being insufficient, especially because a lot of you, even if you focus completely on applying, you're going to end up an inferior version of them, and it's just not going to be as good. So that's for those people. So those people usually just do the opposite of whatever I'm going to say in this video, pretty much, and it should help them also. But anyway, the next thing that I want to talk about is that you want to set aside time to apply, and you want to stop reading and watching and whatever too much. Like, there's really no need. You can watch like a bit of content every day, that's fine. But you want to set aside the rest of your time to apply. And your main focus should be, how am I going to apply whatever I learned today and yesterday and the day before and whatever I see in my games? How am I applying all of this? It's not like, yeah, what do I do in game? Or what decisions do I make here? Or how do I do this? No, it should literally just be, how do I apply it? How do I use this? Because a lot of people tell you to ask yourself like how and why, which are really good questions. But the main thing with why is that why is a really good question because it leads into application. Because when you ask yourself why does this guy do this, then you're understanding the logic behind it. And unless you're not trying to win, then you're likely going to end up applying the logic behind it, right? Because you understand how it works now. Well, if you ask how or what is he doing, then you don't have that same thing happening. But the thing that a lot of us need to realize is that you have to set a realistic time frame. So you have to focus on one thing and on the other thing. Learn some stuff, apply it. You can't do both. And you have to break down the stuff that you're going to apply into little bits and pieces. I'll show you exactly why that is right now. Okay, let's watch Chovy's laning. We can agree that Chovy is better than pretty much all of us that are watching, so that's pretty great, right? But if we pause his gameplay every time that he has to make any kind of decision, I think pretty much all of us, even the pretty low elo people, could at least arrive with some kind of a decent decision, right? So let's go to laning. Bruh. Okay. So right now we pause, and like imagine that you have time control powers and you can just pause here and you can just sit here and just think as long as you want. Okay, so what do I do now? Right? Like, do I want to fight Yon? Not really. Do I want to hit them? No. Okay, I'll walk away. Okay, cool. Cool, right? Oh, okay. Okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? Do I want to push? Maybe, yeah, maybe push. Oh, I want to poke, okay. Oh, and then, like, imagine you just freeze time here again, and you're like, do I want to do this? Do I want to not do this? Like, the thing with this is that this is basically the same thing as asking yourself every time you're doing stuff, okay, why am I doing it? How, like, what am I doing? And whatever, and what should I be doing? And blah, blah. In the end, the point is that you break down what you're doing into smaller bits, right? I'm not thinking about everything at the same time. I'm not thinking about, okay, so how am I going to manage wave 1, 2, 3? How am I going to play the game? What's the game plan? What am I going to do in mid-game? What am I going to buy? No, you just figure out one thing at a time. And if some stuff is too hard to figure out in-game, then you figure it out of game. You look at replay, or you watch some content or whatever, and then you apply it again. And that's the only real way to improve. Because if you try to apply everything at the same time, like say that I just watched like a comprehensive 10-hour guide on League of Legends. Okay, great, man. And what did I achieve with that? Okay, so I should be trading here, and then I should like push the wave, and then I should, okay, trade a bit. Okay, push the wave. Okay, oh, push the wave, like, okay, cool, trade, manage the wave, bam, do some stuff, and it makes zero sense, man. It makes zero sense. Either way, you see the point here is that there is no way that you're going to manage all of this at the same time. So you have to break the game down. And obviously you won't be able to learn everything in one game. That's why you have to stop trying to learn everything in one game. And that's why you have to stop caring about the impact that it's going to have on your game and what the outcome of the game is going to be. You need to just sit there, accept you will lose some games, and work on one thing at a time. And if you do this, you will compound all that you have learned, and eventually you'll be a very good player. But if you decide to keep forcing everything at the same time, and maybe like a bit of fun and whatever else, it will amount to nothing. It's the same as going to the gym and only doing arms. It just doesn't work, right? I mean, you will get big arms, yeah. Will you have a good physique though? No. Because in the end, when you overwhelm yourself, what's going to happen is a lot of your decisions will become unconscious instead of conscious ones, and suddenly it's not playable. It's fine, even if you break down the game and you say, okay, this game I will play level 1 and I will learn this. Or, well, these, like, whatever the time frame is, right? Like, it might be like 10 games, it might be like 20 games, it might be like a day or like a few days. I recommend that at the start you take like a bit of a longer time frame, whatever is comfortable for you, and then you move on to a shorter and shorter one, and eventually you will be able to apply while you play, because you will get so used to thinking while you play, to applying while you play, that applying some stuff on top of the gameplay that you already have is not going to be that difficult, right? Like if I ask you right now for you to draw a whole art piece, it's going to be impossible, right? Like I can't draw to save my life. Like if you put a gun to my head and told me that I have to draw a masterpiece or I'm dead, I would just accept that. Like there's nothing to do there. It just is what it is, right? But if you told me that all I had to do is, like, let's say that stick figures are now for some reason masterpieces, so I'm just going to draw some kind of a fucking stick figure, and okay, great. And then you told me, okay, well, you have to make the stick figure have cat ears. Oh, well, okay. I'll put some cat ears on it. Maybe I fail, maybe I don't. But there's a high chance that I don't fail it hard enough, right? And that's the same way in League. Like, your gameplay has to already be drawn out. But you see how the issue is that if I try to draw everything, then everything is like, okay, whatever. But if I draw like one thing at a time, and I don't know, maybe I like use the circle tool thing, maybe it's useful, I don't know. What the fuck is this for? I swear I've never used this in my life. Oh, I can't even use it because it's pros. Whatever. But if I learned how to draw a circle first, and then I learned how to do this, and then this, and then this, then it's not so hard to add just one part, right? Because at that point, it's fine. So that's all I really want to talk about today. I think that this is the only real way for you to apply stuff, because if you're sitting there and watching hours upon hours of content and streams and everything every day, it's just not gonna amount to much. Like, it's just so much work, and I feel like it's just sad for people to not progress when they are putting in effort and hours. So yeah. Honestly, I think this is a fine enough summary. If you didn't understand anything, if you think I should have added something or whatever else, then do tell me that. Otherwise, like or subscribe if you want. And if not, that's also fine. Either way, I'll see you next time, and see ya.